If I could teach the whole world one thing, it would be the power in trusting your intuition. So much gets led astray because we don't trust our inner knowing and how to access it. And that's the goal here. The Empowered Intuitive is here to bridge the gap in your spiritual knowledge, to open your mind and give you permission to decide what's best for you and the world around you. And I'm here to be real and silly and have fun while doing it. All right. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of The Empowered Intuitive. It's actually kind of special because I took like a 2-year hiatus. So you're my first guest interview after I've come back and done like a few episodes solo, but we're bringing back the interviews. So that's really exciting. So today, I forgot to ask, how do you pronounce your last name?
Oh yeah, Arujo.
Araujo. Okay, so today we're here
Mhm.
with Corrine Araujo. So Corrine is a forensic practitioner, strategic designer, and creative force at the intersection of trauma, systems, and sensory design. With over a decade of experience decoding violence, mapping power, and advocating for criminalized survivors, Corrine doesn't just work within systems, she reimagines them. Through her studio, Strategic Sanctuaries, and her sister space, Pulse, Corrine creates immersive, strategically attuned spaces, digital and otherwise, designed to restore rhythm, coherence, and capacity. Whether translating offender behavior in courtrooms and classrooms or designing websites that feel like breathwork, she brings her full spectrum from the clinical to the creative, the ancestral to the architectural. Corinne's work is rooted in one simple truth. We don't live outside of politics, we live inside their consequences. Her practice bridges the forensic and the visionary to ask harder questions, expose deeper patterns, and build infrastructure that takes the collective from surviving to thriving. Hello, welcome.
Hey.
We were literally just saying how timely this interview is. There's a lot going on. If you live in America and if you live in the rest of the world, to be honest, there's a lot going on for humanity. So, yeah, I'm curious to learn more about your work because I met you through human design. So,
Mhm.
could you share what that intersection looks like for you between
Yeah,
human design?
yeah. So human design has really come to the forefront of my work ever since actually I left the field in October of 2021. I had heard about human design, like someone reached out to me and was like, I feel like you would love this. And they were like, I actually see you as a projector. This is like a distant person of from me, like a friend, but like a distant friend type of thing. So I can see why they would see me as a projector, where like very briefly type of thing, which also is interesting too, because I do have like for the I'm a 6'2" emotional manifesting generator. But I have a reflector body and a projector actually mind.
Mm,
So like yeah, projector, that personality side is actually a self-projected projector with the 1/8.
interesting.
So I was like, I can definitely like feel why that happens. Um, but so they had reached out to me and they were a projector and they were like, I think you would love this. And I like pulled my chart. I was like, what is this like?
Yeah.
Whoa. And at that time, I was joining a certification and a big topic was going to be human design, ironically. So I said, Corinne, trust the fact that you're diving into resources. You don't need to go and like search this system on your own because you're going to be receiving
Yeah.
insight and resources. So you don't need to go do that. So that was like October 2021 when I quit the field. Um, and it was like literally another language that was just waiting for me to tap into it. I just got it like that. And
Mm,
instantly it was just like, it's translating like so many things. And if you look at it too, it's really like just this giant map to like decode behavior and to decode responses.
yeah.
And it allows us to really something like that I do and that comes at the forefront of my work is like I get to the root of the problem. Like go to the root cause
Amen.
right away. Like we're not like doing anything else. Like we're going to the root. And I do it pretty quick.
Yeah.
human design allows me to do that even quicker. And in
Mm,
a world where people are suffering, we don't take it seriously enough. Like collectively, we don't recognize that when a person is suffering, they don't know if they're going to make it. They don't
mm,
know if they're going to make it to the next morning. Like every single moment feels like it's stretched over this like infinite time, right? Like it just time drags for them. So for me, I don't think we get to solutions quick enough.
mm,
Um, and with human design, I can shortcut that even more. Instead of being like, all right, let me feel this out, let me tap in, let's have like so on and so forth, maybe like try and experiment a little with this intervention, this practice, this. I can literally even cut that even more so and be like, yeah, that's not going to do anything for you. Like,
yeah.
that's that's not beneficial for you. It's probably gonna make you feel even worse because you're like, "Why can't I even do this right? Why is this not working for me?" So, yeah, human design is just like a whole new level, and for me, like, I actually studied my chart out of, like, all my close loved ones last.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what are examples or ways that you've used human design to help people like get to the root and help like undo trauma response or different things like in that kind of realm?
Yeah, yeah, something I love using, I love the variables, the 4 arrows. I know you know, but just for anyone, yeah, the 4 arrows, I love the variables. I always start at environment. So, it was actually really funny because I don't here so 6'2" of me, right? And I have 10 6 lines, 7 2 lines. So,
Mm.
like,
Wow.
I'm a bit hermity and a bit aloof. Like, I'm hermiting in the clouds. Like so, I don't recognize, like, my process. I can't necessarily identify it per se, um, and so, like, I have these, like, little epiphanies, and, like, with human design, I mean, we have the environment variable. Environment was at the core of my practice and my work, like, from the beginning, um, of, like, any time anyone would come to me, any kiddo would come to me. I'd get phone calls, we'd go over situations. I mean, right away, I would be like, okay, can you tell me where were you? What did
Mm,
this space look like? Where did this happen? And like instantly, everything would always come back to the environment. And it makes sense, right? Like, because we're not just existing in our core body and like moving around this world. We go in and out of spaces that have different meanings to us. And with trauma, those meanings get repressed and like we get fragmented memory. And so we have triggers come up and we can't understand why it's happening. And yeah, so something I love to do is definitely like focus in. I mean, I kind of just go into like a portal
yeah.
dependent on, like, what a person's coming to me with. I one of, like, a close friend I've worked with, like, her family and, like, her daughter too, who is really sensitive. Really, 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 really sensitive, super intuitive, um, and has just been very misunderstood by systems, of course. Um, so I have just provided advocacy and even, like, treatment plans and clinical interventions that are appropriate and done liaison work through like the school or outside therapists for her by integrating her human design.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that really makes sense. Like you're using it more as like a blueprint, like of like what are the
Hmm.
needs, what is their body looking for, what will help them feel better, be in their rhythms, move out of this trauma rhythm and stuff like that. That totally,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's more like an individual base, like this is what you need specifically, plus all the information that you get from whatever is going on.
Hmm. Yeah. It allows me to be like, even, I'm very client centered. And I think like a lot of modalities, and that's the thing with like all these theories and modalities, and it doesn't matter if you're like in the clinical practice, it doesn't matter if you're in the forensic aspect of clinical or like you're in the judicial, like we have all these different theories that are ultimately just like saying the same thing, like, oh, things happen and people do things. But it's like, why do they do it? And what are we doing to minimize any sort of risk of harm? Like, how are we creating opportunity for not only to access resources, well, not even to, yeah, how are we creating opportunity to access resources and to allow this person to get to where they need to go
Yeah.
or do what they need to do. Um, and human design just allows me to be that much more client centered. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have the same thing with human design, like, I'm going through a person's chart and they're just like, "Oh my god," like, the amount of aha moments that they have, or I find, like, if they're at least over 30, they've figured out some of the pieces intuitively, but they don't have, like, the names for them. So then they'll be like, "Wait, I do that all the time," or like, "I always tell so and so that I would wanna do that," like, they for the variables specifically, for the environment or the digestion, people are always like, "Oh my god," like, "Yes." So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think it is. It's such like it just decodes, like, what you have going on and makes it so much easier. So that totally makes sense why you're like, it helps me just laser focus in, get to the root, know how to help them. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
okay, so with whatever is going on in the world right now,
It's burning.
what what advice with your expertise that you have for helping people understand politics and how it affects us
Mhm.
and how we can and then maybe looking at the system and the pattern and how we can move forward. We'll break this into a bunch of questions probably. But like
Mhm.
what advice do you have for people right now that are just like their nervous system is really going through it? They're seeing all the politics, maybe they're feeling, like, really triggered or they're not sure, like, "What can I do? How do I survive through this?" Like, what kind of pieces of advice do you have?
Yeah, yeah. I think to begin, it's really important for everyone to one, recognize where you are at. So I love like how you mentioned too, like my nervous system, I'm triggered, like this is what's going on. I don't da 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 da. So because each and every individual is going to have a separate response to it. And the worst thing that we can do, and this is what I'm seeing a lot, and it really just like, oh, so problematic. I'm like, "People, this is why we got here too." Like, this is part of the problem, is we're putting expectations on other people to be able to, like, walk, move, talk, act, do in the way that, like, they think needs to happen for, like, the revolution, right? And, like, every single person comes with a very specific gift, whether they know it or not, like, you are the gift, and how you like, you yourself are going to move us through somehow. But what is safe? What's comfortable for you? What's your mode? What's your medium? Like, how do you access your voice and how do you use your voice to really like help lift up this energy and like keep this momentum going in a positive way? Like maybe you're not a protester, that's fine. You can create signs. Maybe you like to create signs for people. You can do that. Like if I'm going out to a protest, look, I personally like thought about it yesterday and I was like, because I get like messages and I'm in this like WhatsApp thing for ice alerts. And like a lot of times they're like, make sure you bring your signs. And I'm like, I'm just not gonna do that. Like that's just not personally, it's just not going to happen for me. I know myself and I love creating, but like if that's how I'm going out and expressing myself in the moment, like I'm not bringing a sign.
Yeah.
Um but if you hand me a sign, like I will walk around with that sign. I will do all of the things, you know? So it's like little things like that. Like even during the pandemic, I had a friend because I was in hospitality for 15 years as well. And um I had a friend that I worked with, and she, with another friend, started creating masks and
Mm,
started making masks for people, and they were like $5 maybe, and, like, literally, it would be like the restaurant was shut down, and it was a small restaurant, and they would take up the whole restaurant, like, just a machine line, like, and just be making masks for other people, right? Like, distributing it out to people. They're nice, they're fun, they're local, they're still accessing, like, local stores, so local stores are still getting, you know, income and revenue. So that type of thing, like, where do you play a role in, like, this ecosystem, right?
yeah. Yeah,
We
I find
all have our own role.
yeah, I've been talking about that. There's even like the Witches for Hope account. Like she had like the whole astrology reading, like what's your role in the revolution? Like it's just reminding me I have a holistic therapy client yesterday and she's from LA, but she's not living in LA right now. And so she was like, just really going through it. Like I'm seeing my community and I can't be there for them. Like I know if I was physically there, I would be in that protest. Like I did it for BLM. And I like that you're talking about like acknowledge where you're at and what's going on because that's kind of what I did with her. I was like, well, what's the energy? What's the feelings that you have? Is it that you feel like I wish I could be there and I feel powerless and I want to do something? Like, do you have this pain that you want to turn into productivity or action? Or are you just like, I'm just really stressed and I'm really triggered and I just need to like calm down and like release this and ground? And she was like, yeah, like I kind of want to do something. And so I have the gift of ideas. I have gate 11. So he's
Mm.
like, you want something? Like, here you go. So I just started like throwing out, I was like, okay, so what's ways with where you're at that you can hold space for other people? Because she has a background in like socioeconomics and stuff like that. So it's like maybe you can make
Mm.
a PDF for people, like maybe you can make like information posts and break down what's going on in our government or what to do if you know your rights type of stuff or things like that. Or maybe you can host like a Zoom thing, for someone. So after we were just throwing out all these ideas, she was like, "Oh, I feel so much better. Like I have like action steps for where to channel this energy." She
Mhm.
also has like the right angle cross of service, so she wants to be in service to everyone. So for her, that was like perfect. Like I want to do something.
I
um,
wanna do something.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah, but yeah, I think that that's like a really big. Sometimes people just have a lot of feelings and they want
Mhm.
to help, but they're just like stuck in that piece, and they're like, I don't know what to do with this, and that just like spirals and makes it even worse because you're like, now I have feelings, and I'm having like feelings because of my feelings. And now I'm just like stuck here having too many feelings and I can't contribute or do anything. So I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, like what is your energy excited to create? What is your area of expertise? Like for me, I'm a healer, right? So I'm like I'm doing
Mhm.
a, donation based meditation ritual thing for people like just come, show up, get your healing and then the money will be donated. So like
Mhm.
I don't
I
have
love
to
that.
be at a protest to do that, to support
Nope.
people, hold space for people. Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, yeah, yeah, I love that you did all of that, and I love, like, that literal, like, experience you had yesterday, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is, like, so many things that I've actually found immediately is, like, what the public needs is all of this translated for them, right? Like, what is happening right now? Everyone's panicking, everyone's freaking out. I've said it since the beginning, and I'll continue to say it over and over again because I understand why everyone's panicking and freaking out totally, and that is like, if we do react in that way, it's not going to get us where you might think it will. Like, you don't combat fire with fire, right? We because what happens? Like, you get a bigger fire. It's really that simple, and I know for some people that might be really hard to hear, but
Yeah.
being in the political space, I also have power view. I have power view with my sense connected to power view is acceptance. So I literally, like, it's such a cyclical process of, like, I take in the information and I'm like, cool, like super hyper focused, like, and I see power. Like, I literally came into this world seeing power. My motivation, I have desire motivation with
Mm.
security sense. So I'm like, I see what people need, and I believe that you should have it, and like you also need to feel safe and da 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 da. But like also part of I love having like that acceptance part and like learning more about that is like really has been so beneficial for me too of like, okay, this is part of my process. Is like I'm not it's not that I'm accepting how things are, like, I see the limitation and, like, we gotta work with it somehow, right?
Yeah.
Like, we can't just keep running into the wall, like, because the wall will always win, no matter what. You could break the wall, but, like, you're gonna hurt yourself more. The wall's not gonna feel it, you're gonna feel it. So, we have to we have to do something productive, and so many people, like, don't have information and, like, don't understand. They even just, like, the political process, like, the courts have been rapid fire moving.
Yeah.
For the courts to be moving and seeing things at the level and at the speed they've been doing it is unlike anything I've ever seen or would
Mhm.
ever expect. And I know like that for some people may not feel good, but like that is a really, really actually good thing. And like we see like so many people right now too are like, why aren't like, they doing this and like blah, 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 fight back? Well, because we still do have the judicial system, which
Yeah.
is really, 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 really important, right? It's not the most, nothing is the most important right now. We have to put all these pieces together, but it is a very important piece. And if the judicial system falls, we're screwed. And we need the judicial system to have power back, which they have.
Yeah,
They
they have the
have.
yeah.
They have. They completely have. So and that's why they just move on to something else because it's like, "Oh, well, it's not working, so I'm gonna keep moving on to something else." Every time they get shut down, that's because the judicial system is shutting them down.
Yeah.
So, it is wearing them out, right? On in addition to, like, people organizing and moving and the momentum and all of the things and coming together, they are getting worn out left and right, right? So, we have to keep attacking from all angles, but if we were to say, like, our say, like, the Dems, because I see this all the time, like, if the Democrats were to go and, like, literally fight, like, "We'll
Mhm.
push back. Well, put your hands on someone." If they were to do that, then that means that's something that the administration could use against them in the courts, and then the court could throw the case out, and then the
Mm,
administration would essentially win.
mm. Okay.
So everything is super, super strategic. And again, like I know why people are freaking out, but I also know how the system works. And as much as the system doesn't benefit us, it does benefit us in the same breath. Like the idea of democracy is very beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So like we can't we have to move with it or else we will all perish. Period. And right now, by trying to fight against the reality that is the system, it's not, you have to do it strategically. You have to work within the limitations to push those limitations,
Yeah.
to expand them. And we have an incredible opportunity right now to be doing it the right way. And so far, we are doing it the right way. But of course, reasonably so, people are terrified.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
what do you feel are like continuing in that right way? What do you think like we should be doing or the change that is possible or can happen to make the system like better for everyone?
I think one of the big things I'm gonna throw out right away of what we need to get rid of, because unless we can keep doing all of the good things, but what I keep seeing continuously pull us back in the same breath is purity culture.
Mm,
Culture is part of the same system that a lot of these people will claim that they're fighting and does all this harm, yet they're participating in purity culture. Perfectionism is a literal part of the patriarchy, right? Like that is part of it to keep us in the wheel. So like this idea of like I love it because recently Jasmine Crockett was on a TV show and you can tell she's exhausted. I mean, of course she is, but like still a firecracker. Um, but just like even more like to the point. And she said like people were like, what do you have to say like for the people that are saying like the Dems aren't doing anything? And for me, that's really frustrating because like they are actually doing a lot, but the media isn't showing it as much. And a lot
Right.
of people's interpretations of what they should be doing is their
Mm,
own interpretations and opinions, but it's not based in reality of the legal system. It doesn't
mm,
work. It's not
mm.
gonna work. Like, that does not work. If you go in there, like, people if you're firing back with, like, what a lot of people fire back with or a lot of people wanna see, like, you are gonna be so dismissed so quickly. Like, the political system, our system in government is a chess game. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know how to manipulate it and move it and do it, and it's strategic. So things that might not seem like a big deal to you are really big deals in the political system, in the government system, in the judicial system. So we still have to maintain, if we want to say that we're like people that want to maintain humanity, then we also still have to maintain our own humanity in the process, whatever that looks like. And that's so much easier said than done. I
Yeah.
get like
Yeah.
so I think for people, I think like the biggest advice I would have is like find your mode, find your medium, find your people, find your community, find what gets your voice and the message out there, find what makes you feel safe, find where you fit in. Like, again, like with the person
Mhm.
you were talking to yesterday, like they're not in LA. That's okay though. You don't need to be
Yeah.
there. Share the message of LA, like share the
Yeah.
reality, share the heartbeat. Like, you feel that in a different level so you can share in different ways to different people around you. So just we need to also see this as like an opportunity to create a different type of ecosystem, to create different types of community, to come together and create our own ecosystem that doesn't rely on the big heads, right? Like we rely on each other. We've put so much power into all of the big things, whether it's the corporation or these people that help create policy and pass bills into law. Like, we put so much power into them. Like, take our power back and put it into ourselves and each other.
Yeah. What is that? What do you envision that looking like? I guess like in a perfect, not that we're when you're like get rid of perfection. I'm like in a
Right?
perfect
What's
world.
a perfect world? But for
um,
real.
in a decent world.
A
What do
decent,
you what
yeah.
do you envision like taking our power back looking like, and then turning that into like our own ecosystem?
Like, I see it happening with, like, Substack. I see it happening with you and I connecting right now. Like, we're just completely separate opposite ends of the country,
Yeah.
and we're connecting. Like, we are just creating, forming the communities, like, connect with other people, connect with similar people that are saying the things that you are saying, and maybe also, like, challenging certain things that you didn't recognize. Like, come together and have an open mind and, like, open your ears, open your perspective, and just I just see like again, like we see now, like all these like Hollywood figures crumbling, right? People
Mhm.
need to, I have never been a person, like I remember growing up that like we always have to like fill out these things that was like, who is your idol?
Mhm. Yeah, I wasn't one of those people either. I don't know if that's like a human design thing, but I'm like, I don't idolize anyone more than myself, you know?
I
Like,
know. I'm like, why am I gonna like idolize like
yeah,
yeah, so we need to stop like idolizing other people because at the end of the day, humans are humans. And so like anyone can really like crash your bubble, pop your bubble because they could do a very real human thing that like goes outside of what you think
yeah,
they should be doing.
yeah,
Um idolize yourself. Like
right.
call in your own power and just yeah, stop idolizing and stop that's what it comes down to. Like we also like in forensics, it's called the bystander effect of
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and it's so prominent in so many ways, like, it's really compliance of, like, someone like, a crime is happening, someone's getting viciously attacked down like, if you live in an apartment
Yeah.
building and there's, like, 30 apartments, you see someone getting viciously attacked, and, like, it's this idea of, like, "Well, I'm not gonna call the police because they probably are."
Yeah. Yeah, we just all watched the car crash happen and we're like, "Someone probably called. Someone's gonna come and take care of it." And it's like everyone else is thinking the same thing, and the person's just, like, dying.
Dying. Take care of it.
Yeah.
Take care of it. Take care of it. Do
Yeah.
it. Go to your neighbor and say, "Did you see that?" Like, I have had plenty of situations, but, like, even I, literally was in a couple years ago, I was in my car I was driving, and I was behind a car. It was actually 2 cars. The first second car in front of me started to, like, go through the light, and a police car just came and completely T-boned the
Mm.
car. And, like, the first thing I did was, like, pull over, and, like, the person in front of me, like, pulled over, and we kinda, like, collected ourselves, and, like, immediately, I went to the other group of people, and I was like, "You saw that, right? Okay, that was seen. Do you wanna call do you wanna call in reinforcements? Are someone already calling in reinforcements?" Like, very much like, "Who's calling reinforcements? Who's getting the child?" Like, come to find out, like, of course, I had a baseball bat in my car, so, like, all these people are running around like crazy, like, "Oh my god, oh my god." The guy is, like, completely just, like, knocked out because he was just T-boned, and the car was jammed, like, you couldn't open the doors, so people are just, like, yanking on the doors, and I'm like, "I have a baseball bat! I have a baseball bat!" I'm like, "Do you want me to" because it was a police officer, and she got out of the car, and she was definitely injured, but I wanted to, like, also respect that it was, like, law enforcement, and it was even though I was like, "You're injured, do you want me to hit the window?" Like,
Yeah,
I can
what's
hit the window. Let
yeah.
me hit the window. Let me hit the window. Like, so someone like take the control. Take the
Yeah,
control. Like the child was like, we got the child out of the car. I was like, give me the child. Like, take
yeah.
the control, like pass the like communicate with one another.
Mm. No, I
Just
love this. I think it's like I think we're having the same conversation with our own community, like how you're saying that you see like systems of power, like that's pretty much all this is, right? That most of this stuff like boils down to. And my work is I'm here to help you remember that you have power, you know?
yes.
Like as a healer, as a psychic, like I'm here to connect you to yourself, to connect you to your power, your authenticity, your expression, all these pieces. It's part of that same equation, right? Like it doesn't seem like it's adding up for like, helping out the collective because we're mostly focused on like how do I make my life better and stuff like that. But if we're all thinking about like what is my power and how can I take control of my life and make my life how I want it to be, then we would all kind of be sitting in our own power. And then if things didn't work, like our government system or political stuff, then we would say, like, wait a minute, like from my seat of power, like I can call this out and I can say, like, this isn't working. And maybe the other person who has their power, and they're aware of it, they might be like, yeah, let's do something about that. And then they might like make the change. So I do agree. Like, I think we have existed in this system because a lot of us were just born, here you go, that's the system, just accept it. And we don't
Mhm.
realize that we have our own power and we are unconsciously, or for whatever reason, giving our power. We're just giving it to someone else outside of ourselves. It's also systemic, right? Like in school, we learn to like raise our hand and to ask for permission and to follow
Can
in.
I go to the bathroom? I'm
Yes.
like,
Like, if I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, why
uh-huh.
hold in my bowel movements because you're not done giving the lesson? Like, that's crazy. Um,
And that's what but it's all been systemically created, right? Like, this is an institutional creation, and the best thing we can do is reclaim our power because they rely on us not having our power. they
Yeah.
rely on us being powerless. It's
Yes.
one of the faces of oppression is like, how
Mhm.
do you take control of something, right? Like, what's easier to pick up? A baby that's kicking and flailing or a baby that's sleeping?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so true. And I think like tying that back to like the purity stuff you're talking about, I feel like they create that fear that like if you're not good enough at it, if you don't know what you're doing when you're exercising your power, when you're reclaiming your power, when you're trying to make change, then don't do it. Like just go, like you're not in politics, you don't know what's going on, like get out of here, you know? So I
Hmm.
love that you're like, yeah, take that power back from those people, invest it into yourself, invest it into your community, into the people around you, the people you care about, like real actual people, and not like a celebrity and like giving them all the power and hoping they'll like make a change with their millions of dollars. It's like,
They're not going to. It's not going to happen. It's just not. And yeah, like it's really just not, because if that were the case, all of us would be at like in a better place, right? If they distributed their wealth appropriately and they were really coming to save the day, like we wouldn't be here to begin
yeah. Yeah. I feel like we'd be voting
with.
on like where they want to put their money or something. I don't know. Like with
Right?
the
Like
system.
yeah, so it's just it comes back, just like reclaim your no one knows what they're doing. And I think that's another big thing too, is like no one really actually knows what they're doing. There's no like rule book, there's no guidelines. Like I came into this world understanding it and I know how to navigate it and, you know, move in it and make those changes in it. But we're not giving a playbook. We're not given a playbook, right? Like we kind of are if you look at history though. If you come to understand
Yeah.
history, if you understand how the patriarchy even started. Like literally I love how Ken is like in the Barbie and Ken movie, like I like horses, like men found that's literally what happened. Like men found horses and like over hundreds of years, they started training horses and like they could conquer territory with horses and then they became territorial and they became more controlling and like I want this, so then that's where when child brides started happening and the first form of slavery there is with the child brides. I'm going to trade my young child so we can have royalty and have control. Like it all started back there. If we understand like
Yeah.
the simple roots of how it started too, I think like that helps people because like how actual like crazy is that? Like men
Yeah.
discovered horses and we're like, that's it. Or
This makes me an apex predator, so I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Yeah.
if they could discover that horses allowed them to like crawl on their backs, like we can do something.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you're pointing out. It's like knowledge is power, right?
It
Looking
is, yeah.
historically at what has happened and why, like the context always makes it easier to digest. Having context, why is it the way that this is? Like, I feel like a lot of people get stuck in that. Like, they're like, I want to do something, but like, I'm just so baffled by why is this happening? And like, who let this happen? And like, all these, like trying to figure out. And when you look back, it makes it a lot easier to be like, oh, it was just that, or like that's what sparked it. Okay, so like why am I still giving power to all of this? Like why am I still holding this and thinking that this ideology that literally stemmed from like I can freaking train a horse to like I'm gonna decide what every human does with their body in the US. Like what?
And it really all adds up. Like that's
Yeah,
exactly what it adds up to. Like we started just taking over and colonialism and da 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 da. And like, how do you keep people under your control? Fear. Like
mhm.
the system is the ultimate abuser.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's the ultimate abuser. And like the best thing you can do is claim who you are, even if you don't know who you are. Fake the fuck out of it.
Yeah. She's I'm
Fake it.
something that's not that, I know that, you know?
Like you are not like claim yourself. claim it. They don't wanna see it, so do it.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, I think that I have this like sticker on my water bottle that says become ungovernable. And I feel like that's
Mm.
the goal, right? Like, if I'm rooted in my power, then I'm like a horse that cannot be broken, right? Like, I'm a wild horse. I'm like, you can try, but that's not going to break me. I'm not going to acquiesce to your standards. Like, that's cute. I think that the more we're in our own power and we know who we are, what we're into, what we want to create, where we want to go, like what spaces we want to be a part of, like all of these things. And again, like you said, if you don't know, that's fine. Like, just start somewhere, just pick something, go for it, change as you go. And
Yeah.
the more you can explore and figure out what that is, the harder you'll be to govern.
Totally. And, like, I think a big thing too is, like, don't get stuck in one perspective because I'm seeing a lot of people do this, and again, like, I totally understand it, and I think I'm addressing it a lot because, like, it's just so not beneficial for us, like, it's just not good. It's not going to get it's going we are our own worst enemy, and
Mhm.
so, like, we have to open our perspectives and, like, come to, like, these understandings of, like, why this is happening, why this is thinking like, why these people move like that, why these people move like that, why they take this action, why they take that action, like, so, like, open your perspective too, and like put in your opinion. But I think a lot of people are like, "Ah, opinions really do drive me nuts. I will say that. I am so over like opinions dictating like
Politics,
policy and politics, like that are not rooted in facts, but are rooted in like hate and like
just random nonsense. Yeah, like I learned that there like
not reality.
some of the people that were like making the rules about like abortion and stuff, like they're just like old white men. They like believe that women can like turn on and off their period when they want to. And, like, when I learned that, I was like, "Why are you making rules about a uterus then? Like, why if you don't even know how, like, menstruation works? Like, you think that we have the power to just, like, choose, 'I want it on today.'" Like, whoa. And that's the person that's like, "Oh, yeah, we should totally do this. We should have this for women's bodies." Like,
Right. Right. So, like, I think that's too, like, all of us have different specialties. The issue is when we think that we have to make these, like, expert opinions and, like, all end all be alls in certain areas. And it's like, yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like, there's so much angst, there's so much fear. People are so quick to lash out on one another. And, like, social media allows it to happen that much more. Like, every time I don't like to go into the real world. I just don't. I hit my Saturn return of like, that was when I quit my job in October 2021. Like,
and you're
I
smiling, you're like, "Goodbye. I'll see you when I'm 50."
it's bad. It's bad. My wife will push me out of the house and be like, "You need air. Like, go to the corner store." But it has been a breath of fresh air for me recently, like, I go to, like, the local store, or I just, like, I make friends at the post office. For some reason, it's, like, a constant thing. I don't know why, but, like
That's
but
your spot.
it's been such a breath of fresh air to, like because online, there's so many trolls that
Yeah.
we think that's who runs around outside, and, like yeah,
It's
like, the
hard.
simple thing.
20,000,000 phones just plugged in, sitting on trays, just, like, sending out messages and stuff. Like, that's who you're arguing with online is, like, some fake AI thing that's just like, "You suck," like, "You're stupid," and you're just, like, getting frustrated, and you're like, "Why isn't this guy online understand?" And it's like, if you look at the account, it's like 0 followers, like, 0 posts. It's like, that's not a real person.
No, no, it just detaches us from our humanity and from connecting. And like, yeah, so it is great for me to like randomly go out in public. And like last week, I had like three different errands spread throughout the week and very on my Saturn return. Very much a six line in that. And it was each time I was like, wow, that was just like really nice. Like
Mm.
just, like, each time I connected with a different human in such like a real human way. Like we like each time walked away like genuinely like smiling and laughing and like I hope you have a great day. Like I really hope you have the best day or like tell like someone people will tell me what they're doing for their weekend or like who they just lost. Like like
Yeah.
I and it's like I hope this gets better. I hope so going
Yeah.
out and seeing one another that's another thing is like a lot of times actually what I experience is a lot of people, even though like I don't think I scream Republican,
Mm.
but I don't meet people with that energy because I don't consider myself even a Democrat because I know a lot of the things that Dems do that are so detrimental, like in the misinformation and fear they've done themselves, which I get on and call Elizabeth Warren about quite frequently. Like because if you want to see different, stop doing that. Like you're wrong. Stop passing misinformation too. Like we're not all experts in every single area. That's fine, but don't pass the misinformation. But I don't meet people with that energy. And so I actually have had a lot of like MAGA people that like
Yeah.
I know, I can tell, but like I just talk to you like a human being. And then they bring up actually like that their
Mm.
politics to me, like by hinting at something, like by saying something, some some sort of line, right? And I still don't feed into that. Like,
Yeah.
at that point, I'm not like, "Well, screw you." I'm just like, but the reality is they don't want what's best for us either. No
Mhm.
one actually wants what's best for us besides you and I, because this is what happens. That's what systems of power do, and
Yeah.
never in those conversations have I ever once said a political affiliation. But
Mm.
then I have those people, like,
I bet.
contacting me for work,
Yeah.
wanting consulting, wanting more therapeutic modal like, wanting to understand things more,
Yeah.
or wanting to, do projects and this and that, and so I think that's a lot too, is, like, I hate when we refer and I have done it and, like, there's, of course, boundaries and lines, but, like, I've always hated the political system because it's a binary too, and, like, I am not a Democrat, I am not a Republican, I'm a whole ass human being, just like every single one of us, and I will never, ever, ever approach someone and put them in a bubble and assume who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. I think what you're touching on is like one of the biggest pieces of our country and capitalism and our democracy or quote unquote democracy right now is like the separation principles and tactics, right? Like what you're saying is like I understand that this system seeks to put us in category A or category B so that we can like align ourselves and build like alliances based on just the category, not even based on like the human parts and how this serves us. And you're like, when I'm out in public, I choose not to buy into that. I don't want to just put you in category A or category B. You're human, you have nuance, you have all these pieces. And I think that that's a really smart tactic because when, at least energetically, when you put someone in that category, whether it's true or not, your energy like comes off that way, right? And like you were
Yep.
saying, like, I'm not like, oh, you're this, like, get out of here. Like, that's not going to convince someone who's MAGA to change their mind if your energy is like, you're disgusting and I don't like your beliefs. Like, they're immediately going to be on the defense. They're immediately going to shut down. They're not going to want to listen
You're
to.
proving their point. You're
Yes,
proving their
yes.
point.
Giving them another example of, like, a nasty, quote, unquote, "Democrat," like, "This is why I'm MAGA, because people like you," so it is true, it's like we at some point are gonna have to look past the divide and say, like, "We're all human, like, let's all do human things together and let's create a system." Like, I get it, you like that part, this party because it does X, Y, and Z. Like, let's find a system where we can all have X, Y, and Z together and it's all healthy for everyone and everyone wins and everyone gets a seat at the table. Like, I think that that also goes with your point about opinions, right? Like, I was thinking about this that, they say belief is the hardest thing that you can make someone shift or change because at least in America, our identity is tied to our beliefs, and it's because of like systems like that, where it's like you either have to choose A or B and you have to glom onto it and make that be who you are, like defining who
Yep.
you defines a part of yourself. And when you tie your identity to these like opinions or things, then when someone says like I don't agree with that, then they're saying I don't agree with who you are. That's how people perceive it and take it. They're like, so you're telling me I'm shitty or I'm not this or that. And then they can't even, like, their ego is just like so present that they can't even, you're not going to get through to them. You're not going to listen. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to understand you. They don't want to because it feels to them that you're personally attacking who they are. And so now they're just defending themselves and they don't even want to break bread with you anymore, right? Like they're like, get out of here.
Which, like, in all fairness too, like, yeah, it's totally like it's a psychological thing. And this is what I've preached to people since day one of like since January 20th of this year, of like helping people like reframe, rephrase, like contact their senators, provide language, provide context, like get
Yeah.
information out there is like what you're needing right now are literal defense mechanisms. Like this is neurological that comes up. And if you don't understand the neurological process behind it, like if you don't, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to understand the whole neurological process behind it. But if you approach it from a point that's like triggering those defense mechanisms, like you're talking, like you're getting nowhere. And we're
Yeah.
just proving points to one another left and right, all because the approach was so freaking wrong. And like, but at the same time, it's like, of course, like you attack a person, you go up to a person and you
Mhm.
you instantly go into like attack mode. What does the other person do? Go on defense. Like, duh. Like
Yeah.
it's we have to stop repeating the cycle, and like I it's easier said than done, and of course there's boundaries, and of course there's margins, and of course there's like it's so like what is the context and like circumstantial, but at the end of the day we do have to stop repeating the cycle. Like
Yeah.
just I got so I'm involved in like tax credits and like the business consulting world as well, and that deals with the IRS. And it's of course I thought it was gonna like leaving for my Saturn return. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a breath of fresh air. I can get people what they need, what they
Yeah.
deserve, like so desire. Like right now we need money to like make sure people need their resources, businesses need that. And of course, it's become like the number one tax controversy according to the National Taxpayer Services Advocate Services the past 2 years, like the reports to Congress of the top 10 issues, number one is the part I'm working with. And I'm like, can't I just have a break? Like, this isn't, I thought this was going to be a breath of fresh air. But it's been like, I've engaged a lot on like actually LinkedIn for it.
Mm.
And with like former IRS commissioners, I actually had like pre Donald Trump, who the for who the former IRS commissioner that was just in was a Democrat, and then he quit for many reasons. Um, they'll frame it as like he quit because Trump came in, but no, that's not why. He was a Democrat, and like a former IRS commissioner had like before him had made a comment, basically trying to take being like, yeah, like I think he did a really good job. Yeah, he messed up here, there, and X, Y, and Z. Da, 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 da. But why are we saying this? Why are we saying that? And I just could not take it. I was like, bing, 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 bing. Actually, this is like considered forensic linguistics, what he's doing. And what is forensic linguistics? Like, let's break it down and let's look at how people in power use forensic linguistics to abuse their power and avoid accountability. And someone actually like reached out to me, like someone that's like mutually in this like tax world that I know of, just like through the same things, but was like, I love the like psychological facts that
Yeah.
you bring in and like the way that you just didn't care. And it was like, he was like, in all honesty, I think he's saying what he's saying because he's also a Democrat. And I was like, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
Don't defend if someone's doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're blue. I don't care if you're black. I don't care. I don't care. Like, if you're doing something wrong, hold them accountable. And, like, that's part of the problem, and that's this was a former IRS commissioner, so you
Yeah,
know it's happening in this sphere. I'm like, "That's so gross to me. That's
yeah,
so gross." Like, he has withheld millions of dollars for millions of businesses and created this false narrative and created, like, a fake fraudulent idea, like, mass thing. He has mass produced fear in the way that Trump mass produces fear. But
mhm,
you're okay with it because he's a Democrat and you're a
yeah,
Democrat? Like, I'm not cool with that.
yeah. Yeah, I think that that's like talking about the separation tactics with the party system. It's like people then just are like, that's my team. It's the same thing like with sports, right? Like I know it's like a very different thing and there's not really too much at stake for following sports, but people are like no matter what, if my team is doing well, if my team is doing bad, like I'm still going hard for my team. And like when we put it in the context of like real human lives are at stake and real policy changes and money and all these things, it's like then we shouldn't just be, it's not like yay, I'm, a Raiders fan and like I'm always going to ride for the Raiders. Like, sure, that's great. Like, if they lose, they lose. Worst that's going to happen for you is you lose some money if you bet or something, right? But like to
Mhm.
do that in the scale of like politics and like world decisions is like crazy. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna just fall on the sword and just blindly just say yes just because they're part of my party. Like, is shenanigans.
Yeah, so, like, I think too, like, part of my story with that is, like, it happens across the board. It
Yeah,
happens across the aisle, it happens we can fall into that easily, and I think that's where, like, we need to just, like, come together more and
yeah,
connect more and just, like, stop with the bullshit.
yeah.
Like
No, I get it. I see
Mhm,
how all these pieces are coming together. It's like, I love that you're like, I'm not this party, I'm not that party, I'm a human, right? And I think like that's a great like takeaway piece is like, if we're rooted in our power, then we're not tying our identity to things outside of ourselves in that
no,
way, right? Like we're not saying like I'm a Democrat, so that makes me a good person, right? We're saying like I'm rooted in my power and I know the choices and decisions that I make, and that's what makes me a good person. And so then
mhm,
when you make all of your decisions, you're not basing it off of like one or two like systems. You're seeing yourself as a whole, like you said, as a human that has this and that and that and that and that. And then you're finding like a greater solution because you're thinking about yourself as a whole and you're probably thinking about other people as a whole. And so then you're like, okay, if I have nuanced needs, like this person has nuanced needs, like let's do that. As opposed to like, I'm this and this is my identity and like that's it. Like we see that all the time with like intersectional feminism, intersectional,
ugh,
all that. It's like you're not just black and you're not just a woman and you're not just gay. Like you're all of the things together. And that's like
mhm,
I don't know, I feel like when we're disempowered, we feel like we have to like align with one or the other to be closer to the power,
yeah,
instead of just like
and which
giving
is
ourselves the power.
intersectionality,
Yeah.
like you said, right?
Hmm.
Totally, like, that's proximity to power, what you just pointed out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it means, and, like, that's where, like, so many people too, like, I see it with, like, these people, like, trying to find a movement or a subject that, like,
Yeah.
they can attach to right now, and it's like because they're trying to find it and it's coming from a place of like not wanting to step in, like they're not completely empowered, they don't know who they are, they don't know, they're just looking to attach, right?
Mhm.
It's like now it's becoming your identity, so anything that gets thrown at this one part of your identity is just going to like knock the whole thing.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's like my friends, we are so complex, and like the intersectional part, like, intersectionality is at the core of my work. Is like, it's just brilliant. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's such a good way to describe, like, you are not
Yeah.
this, you are not that, you are not just this, like, you are
Yeah.
so many things, and that's only, like, the top of the iceberg we're looking at.
Sure. Yeah, you have, like, so much, your ancestry, your history, your upbringing, your schooling, all these different things that make up who you are. Like, I recently, went to this, like, stand-up special, and the lady she's, like, in her 60s, she's been doing stand-up since, like, the '80s and '90s, And she was like weirdly very spiritual, which I freaking loved. But she was like, I went on this podcast and they were like, what do you want me to call you or introduce you as? Are you a comedian? Are you a stand-up comic? Are you this? Are you that? And she was like, I'm Monique. I'm not a
Yeah.
comedian, I'm not this, I'm me, and that's just my profession. And I think like that's like so like it was like, well, oh, like I'm not defined by my title, by my job, by my this, by my I'm not like a mom or a dog owner or it's like I'm me. And me is all of these beautiful things put together at all the
Mhm.
time, everywhere, everything at once, type of thing. So yeah, I think that when we take back our power, then we can feel safe to express all those facets of ourselves and not feel that we need to like align with one or the other to get the fulfillment or that, like you said, the sense of power, the closeness to power. And we just like have it.
We're, like, so cool. Like, people are so cool. You
Yeah.
have so many different nuances and so
Yeah.
many different aspects and so many parts of you that probably you've been taught to shame and hate about yourself, and, like,
Yeah.
fuck that. Like, how that's what makes you you. Like, that's beautiful. Like, pull in that nuance, pull in that quirkiness, pull in this other side of you that you tuck away. Pull like bring out your humanity because
Yeah.
that's what we're all craving right now. That's what's happening is
Mhm.
that we've tucked our humanity away from one another and pretended like we didn't need it. And we need it. We need it really bad. Like be fucking real. That's it.
Yeah.
That's why people even like in the current climate voted for Trump
Yeah.
because he said things.
Yeah.
He expresses anger. He says the things. Whether or not you want to hear it, that is the reality.
Yeah.
People want authenticity. It's like, I, if you fuck up, say you fucked up. Like, just
Yeah.
be authentic. And we want it for our leadership because people are realizing too, like, hey, they hold these expectations from me, but they're not doing it. So that's what people are craving right now. We just want realness.
Yeah. Honestly, realness, authenticity, and like connection, right? Like community and
Mhm.
like these issues that we've talked about today, like all create this aloneness, this separation, and then we feel like we're being lied to and we don't know what's real. So we want like this reality and we want community. And I've talked to a lot of people, they're always like, how can like people vote for this person? Like, how can they like align themselves? And I'm like, you know what? They find connection, they find community, right? Like the quote unquote extreme placements and things like MAGA people, it's like they're saying like I'll accept you for who you are, like scars and all, warts and all, if you like align on this thing, you know? And so
Yeah.
people are like, okay, like I'll throw all my other identities out the window and make allowances for all of these things because I'm getting connection and I'm finding community and people who are accepting me. And that's like, honestly, once I tell people that, they're like, oh, like that makes sense in my brain. Like, of course, like in school, we see there's so many like Mean Girls. Katie Heron in Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan's character just like changes exactly everything who she is to be accepted by popular people, to
Mhm.
feel loved, to feel important, to have all these pieces. And then at the end she learns like I should just be myself and I'll find my people. You know,
Yeah.
that's literally what we're seeing, but like on a political scale.
Yeah. 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 It's it's just yeah, it's so wild. It's so cool. I knew it was gonna happen. I saw at the age of 3. And
Wow.
so, like, here we are 31 years later, and I'm like, "I've been telling you all this whole time."
You're like, guys, come on,
Whole
catch on.
I'm like, "Come on. I don't wanna do this circus. Let's go. Let's go." Like, we just had the pandemic. We're actually still not out of it, really. Like, we're
Shit.
still suffering from it and having all this like, this natural consequences of it. Like, so do we really need to do this? Do we actually want to do this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I think where we're at is I think this is all happening. Obviously, we just talked about why it's all happening, but I think
mhm.
that it's just one of those, like, it has to be like a rock bottom or like a worse before it gets better type moment. I think that's kind of where we are right now is it's gone on so long and we've just like accepted it. And then the system was built to make us accept it, like capitalism. We're so busy, we're so stressed, we don't have all the things that we just like, okay, fine, sure, like take away my rights, whatever. Um
Yeah, whatever.
yeah, it's like I need to make my rent, like whatever, sure. Um, so I think like we're now at this sort of like this is too much for me to ignore and to just like keep living my life and pretend it's fine. And I think that's kind of what's necessary at this point because we've let it kind of go on for so long without checking it and putting it back into balance. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's also something, like, I wanna say for listeners, like, it's understandable that we're stressed and we're scared, like,
totally.
it's stuff we haven't gone through in our lifetime, it's new to us, it's different, it's out of the norm, it's in on purpose designed to do that, like, there's all these pieces there, but I think, like, if we, like you said, acknowledge, like, the root, like how you're saying, like, politics is like a chess game. It's like, if we look past all of that, like the smoke and mirrors, and we see, like, what's really going on and why are they doing this and, like, why is this happening and stuff, it can help us, like, see the truth that we're looking for and understand it and anchor into, like, what actually needs to be done.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's totally valid. All of it's so
Yeah.
valid. This is a lot, totally a lot. I personally, I'm a 6'2". I got a lot of 6 lines too, and a lot of 2 lines. I am naturally optimistic. I just because I also, like, have seen this vision for so long, I know what's possible, I see it, I hold it. There's, like, that what I've learned is so much of my acceptance too with that power view is really, like I've learned, like, that vision and, like, holding this, like, optimism
Mhm.
almost, but, like, I'm also, like, very realistic at the in the same token, like, we're gonna feel how we're gonna feel, totally, and, like, you have so much in you. Like, don't let them take your power. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
has who has the right to do that? Like the audacity. That's how I always frame it to people. Like, let's be real here. Like the audacity of another person to think they can have that type of power and control over you.
Yeah.
Fuck do they think they are? Like, come on.
Literally. That's like the mindset we all need to have, like, "I'm sorry, you're doing what? I don't think so."
What? No, like, you matter, you're a whole ass person, your needs matter, your voice matters. Fucking make it known. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. Yeah, and something that I'm hearing too is like, if you're still struggling with your own personal self-worth, like think about the other people that you care about and you believe matter and should have a voice. Like if you're like, I don't know, man, I don't know if I matter that, like your mom, your nephew, your friend, whoever, like all of these people matter just as much as you do. So you can like pick someone that you believe matters and fight for them.
Yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, yeah, and, like, you fucking matter. Like, fuck
Yeah,
that shit.
no,
Like,
you
fuck
do.
that shit.
Yeah, like, all of these things are just part of the colonial ideas, like, self-worth, like, like, ancient cultures don't have that, like, everyone's just worthy, everyone has a seat at the table, like, there's no, like, you have to do this to be worthy and, perform this to be worthy, like, that's crazy, you know?
Wild,
Yeah, yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's just like a belief you're born into, which understandable, but now we just need to like
Totally.
learn that it's like that's just made up. Like they just made some rules so that you would give people your power. Like I always like to say like when you look at a baby or a dog, like no one's like, is this baby worthy? Like should I feed this baby? I don't know if she's worth it. Like inherently all babies worthy. They don't work, they don't contribute to society, quote unquote, in a productive way. Like, but we all agree that they matter, they're important, they deserve to get their needs met, all these pieces. And then some age you just like it switches and now you have to like work for your worthiness. Like it's crazy. I don't
That's wild.
yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. It's insane, and, like, if anything, your worth grows as you grow because you become more of a human. You
Yeah.
not like, and, like, so screw that, like, you have so much to give, you've created a life, even if you're 5, if you're 7, if you're 8, if you're 30, if you're 24, if you're 62, like, you are creating your own life, and, like, that.
Yeah. I love that belief like your worthiness grows as you grow. Like that's really that's a beautiful one to replace. Like every day I'm alive, my worthiness grows. Like think about how empowering that statement could be if you like made that your rule for life. Like that's so cool.
It's totally my rule. It's
I
like 150% my rule. Like, I have created a whole ass life, and you're gonna try and tell me that you're picking what over me?
yeah,
Like you would choose what over a human? Like, that you would choose what over a person that's, like, lived a very real reality and lived experiences and formed connections and da 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 da, like,
weird. Yeah. I feel like we should change this where it's like, ew, weird. Do you think that way? Like people someone's
what?
believe in someone else? That's so bizarre.
Yeah, my wife and I do it all the time. We're always like, "Ew." Like, it's like a constant conversation of like, "What?" Like,
It's like as if you're like an alien and you came to Earth and you're like, what? People do it this way? That's not in my country. We don't do that on my planet. Like, what
I
is
don't I don't understand that.
yeah.
Like, we don't hold that.
Yeah.
No.
I think it was like a celebrity that they were interviewing. I think it was Zendaya. And she I might be getting this wrong, but she was like, "I never experienced that emotion. I don't know, like, who that is. I don't" so, like, I like to use that meme, like, "I never experienced that emotion. Like, people aren't worthy for some I've never experienced that. I don't know what that's like."
No, I just don't get it. It's just
Yeah,
not we're not holding that.
yeah.
We're not maintaining that.
The thing where it's like, "I don't know her." They were interviewing they were asking her about another celebrity, and she was like, "I don't know her. I don't know who she is. I don't" it's like, I never met that girl. That's unworthy."
Yeah. Read the narrative, like, give it right back, and, like, that's what I do a lot in, like, in the world of, like, in this crazy world of, like, policy and legislation and politics and government, is I literally just take what they say and I go, "Nope,"
Yeah.
and it stops them. Like, my mom has always told me, like, "You should be a lawyer." She wanted me to be a lawyer for a while. I thought about it for a long time. I've had random spurts of, like, "Maybe I should," and she's like, "Because you're terrifying." Like, and I'm like, "I'm just giving them what they're giving me." Like,
Mhm.
you just, like, take what they say and, like, really, like,
Yeah.
live it right back to them.
Yeah.
Don't try and, like, the issue is we try and be like, "Yeah, but I matter and this matters and that matters and that." Think about what they're saying. Does it actually make sense? Does it hold weight? Is it actually valid? Like, is it rooted in fact? Like, what is it they're saying? And just,
Yeah.
like, also know, like, think about who that person is and, like, the ways in which they're contradicting it, and just you don't even have to say that out loud. Just flip it on its head right back so it's facing them, and they're like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I even online with like TikTok videos, people will say stuff and I'm like, "So what you're saying is this? Like that doesn't make any sense to me." Like I'm not like, "Well, you're stupid and blah, blah, blah." Like we don't need a personal attack. Like when we're
"No,
like, "So this is what you're saying." Like I don't get what the point of that is. Like what's the validity of this statement that you're saying? And then they have to like defend or explain and then you can see where all the cracks are and you can be like well that doesn't make sense and like this is not true and so then you're really focusing on like the argument and you're not making it personal about their identity as much or like blaming or shit talking them And that's how you can have like a constructive, criticism. Like I've had actual people like in my comments, and I'll like take time, if I have the bandwidth for it. And like I've had a few people where we've just had a legitimate conversation about our difference of opinions or our viewpoints, and then at the end been like, "Wow, thanks for having this conversation with me. Like I'm glad that you took the time to share like why you believe this for me. So now I've learned more about, people, and then you're hearing me out. Like, wow, cool."
Yeah, it's super cool. And a lot of times like it's really for me it's really fun. It's
Yeah.
like I was so good in hospitality. I'm really good at breaking down barriers. I have the 59 in my unconscious earth. So like
Mm.
here we are.
Mine, I'm like, I feel like I have this because I have had similar things from what you're saying. I'm like, I need to look this up.
Like that like, "Hmm,
Yeah.
but like that reframe and, like, by the end of it, like, most times people are laughing at themselves. Like, the amount of times my mom would, like, thinks I'm in like, she's like, "You're terrifying," because she would even see me, like, at work, like,
Mhm.
especially in hospitality growing up and, like, all of that. She's like, "You're so scary because you genuinely call people fucking assholes to their face, and they're like, 'Here's $100. Love you, boo. See you tomorrow.'" I'm like, "Because, like, what? What? Come
Yeah.
on. You just gotta do a little reframe. When people, like, get a little, like, wild out here, you just gotta reel them
Yeah.
back in. Reel them
Yeah.
back in real quick."
That's why the root is important because I think people get lost all up in like the word choice and the thing. And but if you're like seeing the truth of it or the root of it, then you can remain committed to that conversation and in alignment with the root so that you can understand it, dig it up, whatever it is that needs to happen. You're not getting like caught up in the tangents and the weeds or like, oh, now we're just arguing about like who's stupider, like that's not the point. Like we need to come back to like why are you upset about this policy? Like why do you value this candidate? Like let's talk about that and like figure out what the need is because I feel like someone I think it was the consciously on Instagram, like he was talking about how like people who are like MAGA people, they have like they've expressed their needs and then they're like breaking down like what they said and they're like that's the same need as like the Democratic people are saying. Like it's just they're going about it different ways. So it's like, "Oh, wow, we actually all are looking for a government that serves us." Wow, like we see like at the core, we're all wanting the same thing. We're just trying to go about it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been taught, and of course, like, there are those, like, people that, like, are inherently, like,
Yeah.
racist and, like, just not good people,
Like
right?
those
Like,
I'm not going to talk to you.
yeah, that like, of course, like,
Yeah.
here's the line, here's the margin, here's the thing, and I think too, a lot of people get so mixed up in not being able to discern and differentiate, and I think something that's really important too is, like, learning where you wanna put your own energy, right? Like, if you're noticing resistance, like, again, are you going to continue punching the wall and,
Yeah.
like, it not moving?
Yeah.
Like your hand's broken, your wrist is starting to shatter, like you're like
Yeah.
but it's just not good. Like
Mhm.
take your energy elsewhere. Discern who gets your energy, where your energy should go and start like that takes to like read people, listen to people,
Yeah.
see if there is this connection, if there is this sense of attunement, if there is somewhere in there where you see the human or you have something similar to that
Yeah.
person and like you are able to bring your energy to them. But like stop fighting the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
Just
you got to pick your battles. You got to read the room and know when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? Like if a lot of the time I'm like, okay, we're getting off topic here. You're talking about how I'm a piece of shit. Let's realign to what the topic is. If they're still going on that, okay, I'm sorry. We're not gonna get anywhere with this conversation. Like I'm out. Like you don't owe
it's just
anyone.
not happening.
Yeah. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, discern. Discernment's beautiful.
Yeah.
Place your energy where you can place it in spaces that rejuvenate you, allow you to come back. Like that doesn't mean like I think too rejuvenation doesn't mean like you can continue going on forever like productivity wheel, right? Like you can come back to the conversation. You can come back the next day. You want to wake up the next day and create what you were creating and come back to it.
Yeah.
Come whatever rejuvenates you.
Yeah. And I will say something that I just came up to was like, if you're rooted in your power and you're having a hard conversation with someone who's not going to listen or see eye to eye, you will be less affected by what they're throwing at you and what they're saying because you know who you are and what your truth is, right? Like
Mhm.
people can say whatever they want to say about me online. It makes no difference because I know who I am and I know that that's not me and those words don't define me and they don't need to like sit in my head and loop over and over and hyperfixate on them and overanalyze them and question if it's true or not. I'm a five line, so I have a lot of people projecting things onto me all the time. So I've once I learned that lesson, gave me so much freedom to be like, whatever version of myself that lives in your head rent free, like I'm not responsible for that. Like you, if
No.
version of me that serves your narrative, go off. Like if you want to see me as this person, whatever. I'm separated from that and I know who I am and what I am, and it's not that thing. So it becomes a lot easier when you're approaching these kinds of like topics and conversations and attempting to make change when you're like, my identity isn't defined by this. I can still be rooted in who I am and my power, and that's cool. Whatever you want to say it doesn't mean I don't need to absorb it.
Nope.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a sponge. Like,
Mm-mm.
nope, nope, nope. We are not SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob.
I
We're
feel like that needs to be like a real statement, like a trend, like, "You're not SpongeBob, don't absorb that." So
I
good.
love SpongeBob so much.
Yeah.
As I'm staring at my SpongeBob like big purse. I love SpongeBob, but that poor sponge absorbs
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, it's so true. Yeah, wow, this was a really great conversation. Thank you
Yay.
for taking the time to share your expertise, your point of view, your knowledge with us. Hopefully empowering people listening to this, giving them some food for thought about how they want to go forward and make the change that they want to see in the world. I also do want to remind everyone, like you kept talking about like a vision that you're holding and like a vision that you've seen since you were younger. I think that that's also something to note that that's what helps people like you who are creating change and continuing to step into these spaces, like continue to do so. Like when you have that vision for the world, for what you want to exist in, what you want to bring into the world, like that's very, very powerful. And, a lot of the time they say, like, focus on what you want to build and what you want to bring in and not what's not working and what's broken, right? It's similar to like manifestation type stuff. Like, if you keep thinking negative things will happen to you, then they do, right? And so it's like, if you keep focusing on the stuff that doesn't work, then we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to see more of the stuff that doesn't work. So it's like, identify and then now we need to think about like where do I want to go, and I think that also is a big key for people who feel very like powerless or overwhelmed or like how do I one person make a difference. It's like even if you just have a vision for the world that you want to exist in, a world where like everyone's rights matter and everyone has respect and the law is followed and all these things, like that can be a catalyst, for anything in the world because you're opening this like energy portal and you're saying like there's space for this. I want this. Like let's all bring this in.
Yeah, that's what all like in regards to politics, if you look at like our civil rights leaders, right? Like it's not that they went into this thinking like, all right, like I'm gonna actually make this. I mean, they could have, but it was more just they had a vision for the world, right? Like John Lewis did what he did because he saw the vision
Yeah.
for the world and he saw the vision for what should be. So his action steps followed the
Yeah.
vision and chased that vision, right?
Yeah.
And that gives us that momentum. So yeah, I think what is your vision, right?
Yeah.
Like what do you see for the world? And
Yeah.
like if you're struggling with that, like what do you see for the world? And how do you see yourself a part of it? Like what beautiful gift can you bring in? Because you hold so many gifts,
Yeah.
so many. It's just about you get to choose which ones you want to bring in.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people get caught up in the visioning, it doesn't need to be realistic. It doesn't need to
No.
be attainable. What happens is if you have a goal that you're shooting for, and if you don't 100% meet that goal, you'll still get a percentage, like 20, 30, 50, 60, whatever, and that all is going to change because that was in the vein of shooting for that vision. So if you're like, well, I want a world where like racism doesn't exist and all these, I don't think it's going to happen. Like still like hold that vision, hold that energy, and keep like using your choices and your goals and use it as a blueprint for getting there. Like everything I'm doing is to help bring in a world where that vision is a reality. And if we all do that,
Mhm.
we will get there. We'll get closer, we'll get closer and closer and closer. So don't limit yourself if your vision seems crazy or unattainable or you can't do it on your own. Like that's okay. Like still hold that vision and do the like you said, it gives you that framework for like I know what my next step is, or like I have some sense of, direction because I'm looking at where I wanna go.
Yeah, just whatever that looks like. Like, it could be as simple as, like, now you purchased a couple books
Mhm.
because, like, you're like, "Okay, I see this world and I wanna understand it better, but I feel like I need to know something. I feel like I don't understand." Like, that's what's been always helpful for me is, like, if I don't understand something, I go look it up. I go look for research. I go look for that, and that helps build my confidence and, like, okay, like, this is where it started. I don't even need to read, like, maybe the whole book, the whole essay, the whole article, the whole this, the whole that. Like, I know what you're saying. I get it. I just needed some sort of like context, right? Like, so there's little tools that we have around us that we don't even think of
Mm.
accessing. And yeah, that knowledge is power.
Yes. Yeah, all these things add up. I know it feels like everyone wants like a just tell me what to do. Like, and I want to fix it. Like, what do I do? But it's like all of these small things add up. Even if like you change your words, if you say like, I believe in a world where this exists, like to people around you, out, in the mirror to yourself, like that's gonna change and shift energy. It's gonna tell your brain like focus on those things in that world that you want to see. Like any small little shift is gonna add up. I love that. Yeah, educating yourself, making it like
Something I
go ahead.
Yeah, something I do a lot and was a constant go-to is just like, "Is that true?"
Mm,
Like, I'll have, like, someone just, like, bearing their soul or, like, the kids or families I'm working with, and they'll, like, kinda, like, look at me, and I'm like,
but is that true though?
"Is that true?"
Um,
Like, asking yourself, "Is that true?"
yeah,
Or, "Why?
yeah.
Why?"
That honestly, that's how I get to the root, like with all of my therapy clients. Okay, what are you feeling? Here's what I'm feeling. Okay, why are you feeling that? Do you know why? Like, where did it come up? Where did it stem from? When did it start? Like, we just keep asking why. Like, I learned that from one of my business mentors. She was like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Oh, I want to do this in my business." And she's like, "Okay, so where's the block?" I'm like, "I'm afraid." She's like, "Why are you afraid?" "Oh, well, I'm afraid that, I'm gonna fail." "Okay, why are you afraid that you're gonna fail?" "Oh, well, if I fail, then like I won't, make money." "Okay, what's scary about that?" "Oh, if I don't make money, I can't pay my rent." "What's scary about that?" "Oh, if I can't pay my rent, I'm gonna be homeless." "Oh, what's scary about that?" "Then I'll probably die." Right? Like if you keep asking why, like it gives you like a simpler truth and an answer. Sometimes it's just silly. Sometimes it's like, oh, because my mom told me that. And you're like, okay, cool, whatever.
Which is so many times,
Yeah.
right? Like, and especially when you're working with, like, like, really deconditioning, and so we all have so much work to do with it. No matter how much, it's gonna be a forever thing because there's so much that's been done. It's just, like, so many times it's like, "Why?" Or I say, "Who says? Who
Yeah.
says?"
Yes. I tell clients, like, make your should list. I should be like this. I should do that. I should. After you get it all out, where does that come from? Does this start from inside of me or did I get that from someone else? Oh, you should act proper. Like, that was taught to me by my parents. And so then you're like, okay, well, my parents told me this. Do I resonate with that personally in my own life? No. Okay, well, I can unsubscribe to that belief now. Like, just good, done. Don't need to worry about it. Like, it is very powerful when you're like, "Who said this? Why is it here?" Like, asking these questions that will give you the root answers can yeah, sometimes it's like, "Wow, I can't believe it was that silly." Like, I was just
And
afraid.
oftentimes it's so
Yeah.
silly. It's really so silly. Like, it's so
It's ridiculous. It's like either you're afraid of death or being homeless. Those are most of the roots for money stuff, or it's just like some silly thing like I don't want to look stupid or like I don't want to be embarrassed. Yeah. Which like who cares? Yeah, see previous point about perfection.
yeah, literally head on over to perfection. Like, I don't wanna look stupid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like
I embrace looking stupid. Like I laugh at myself.
I do it with my teen I had one teenager I worked with, like, early on in my career, and they would get embarrassed really, really easily, and so, like, a lot of my work was really centered around too, like, stop looking for the external validation. 1, you're not gonna get it, and, like, 2, like, who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah.
so and so, like, anytime they would start acting up in public, I would start twerking.
And honestly, you learn 3 times faster when you're having fun. So like just make it silly. Like let's just do it.
And guess what? Like, that, like, bullshit would like, that behavior and that, like,
Yeah.
ness like, chilled out so quick because they were like, "Corinne's gonna start twerking and embarrassing herself, like, she doesn't need to do that." Like, "You don't need to twerk, Corinne, got it." Or like,
Yeah, and
"Woo."
it creates a world where it's like more of that is acceptable. Like it's okay for us to not be perfect. It's okay for us to be silly. It's okay for us to be human. Like we don't all have to have all this etiquette and all these crazy standards to uphold ourselves to. Like it's just
No,
less serious.
that's so much like, it's loves, like, there's so much we have to be serious about, have to, in
Yeah.
quotations, and, like, there's so much that we choose to be serious about. So, like
Yeah. Yeah, it's all relative.
like, come on, we gotta laugh at some point.
Yes, it's that's medicine for sure.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, yeah, I know I already like started ending the podcast and then I always do
Yep,
this.
and then tangent.
Yeah. But yes, thank you for taking time out of your schedule for talking.
Ooh.
I'm really excited. Is there anything that you're working on that you want to plug, that you want people to find you at?
Yeah, I'm working on so much. I realized, like, in true man gen fashion the other day, I took a step back and was like, "Whoa." Once I finish up, like, X, Y, Z, A, D, B, I'm gonna have the whole fucking alphabet. Like, I am like, getting really clear in my foundation and, like, coming back to my roots in so many ways. Between like policy and practice, I am going to start opening up containers and like opportunities for support, opportunities for um, civil leaders, activists, like your everyday people, whoever it is, for policy and practice. And like it is going to look a lot like, yes, can I help you like frame certain things for policy and like policy and practice in your own life? Like, really working with people to like just like calm down, really. Let's bring it back in, pull our power back in. What can we do, like moving from a spot of like what we can do and what we want to do. So I have a lot of like policy and practice based opportunities coming. I've been also like really tapping into like my digital art and digital creation. So I'm also going to have like a whole like studio and suite for web design and just like creating spaces for yourself that like honor who you are and allow you to put yourself out there even more so I have so many different things coming. I would say the best way is go on I or my Instagram is I am Corinne Nicole, all one word. Um, and then like when I am about to do with the thing, I'll like
Yeah.
probably share it there in case you're not on my email list to like
Yeah.
send all the updates. Cause yeah, lots of room for like people to just like tap into themselves
Yeah. I love
and
that.
tap out. tap out, like tap in, tap out, tap in, tap out. Like,
That's beautiful. Yeah. So, if you enjoyed our chat, if you enjoyed Corinne, you can go ahead and give her a follow. Maybe even join her newsletter list if you just want to get that delivered and you don't want to have to scour the social media. And then, of course, you can always come back to this podcast whenever you need that, like, I feel like this is gonna be a good resource for, like, I'm down in the dumps, like, let me hear it again. Let me remind myself, like, how powerful I am, what's important, what's not important. And yeah, I'm excited for everyone who listens to hear what your role in the revolution is, what you wanna contribute, what your vision is. And, I don't know, I'm just, like, I'm feeling all the ripple effects, the butterfly effect happening already, so I'm just in.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And
thank you.
of course, reach out to
Yeah.
me. Don't be a stranger if you feel like you wanna reach out. If it takes me a little bit to answer, I'm in a creative vortex, or I am in a creative vortex, but I promise I'm never ignoring, and I will always, always come to answer. So, you ever
Yeah.
wanna reach out, that's what we're here for. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time on the podcast. Thank you for listening to your intuition and listening to the Empowered Intuitive podcast. I would absolutely love, love, love it if you could leave a review on Spotify, Google, or Apple Podcasts, subscribe or follow the pod wherever you stream, and legit just tell all your spiritual baddie friends and fam about us. You can follow the Empowered Intuitive Pod on IG at the Empowered Intuitive Pod. For updates and fun memes, follow our host Love on IG and TikTok at Love Sakratoff. That's LoveSachartoff. Or head to their website to subscribe to their newsletter, book a session, or attend an upcoming event with them at lovesakratoff.com. And remember, trust your intuition.